Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm Stephanie. I'm the co-founder of Audacity, and I'm here to talk about Audacity 2025, our third annual Women's Empowerment Summit, being held on next Friday. Wow, a week from today. So 1 week from today, Friday, February 14th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to be just going to go live here on Insta. All right, there we go. We are going to be having a full day of programming. I'll be going over the program with you now so you can get inspired, grab your ticket. You definitely don't want to miss this. We have a really great lineup of very inspiring women. Dharma wants to get in on the action too. She's going to start walking all over the place, but that's okay. We have a really inspiring group of women this year. We're really excited about what we've been building over the past few years. So for those of you that don't know, back in 2023, we had what we thought was going to be a one-time women's empowerment conference summit. And we got such a great response that we decided to do it again and again. So this is our third year. And in addition to that, we also are a niche media company, and we provide support for women in our creative incubators. So if you're a woman who wants to launch a project into the world, whether that's a book or a product or a service, whatever it might be, but you're looking for someone to help you with the heavy lifting, that's kind of what our specialty is. Because I think there's a lot of us out there that have these ideas and have these dreams and things that we want to birth out into the world, and we don't quite know. Maybe we don't, we know what to do, but it's hard to do it on your own. So that's kind of the hole that we fill for women who have that kind of struggle where they're like, I want to do this, but I have no community. I have no one to support me. Maybe my circle of people don't do these kinds of things. And I want to make sure that I'm able to, put something out and have other people I can bounce ideas off of. So that's kind of what we do. So enough about us. Let's talk about the women. So hopefully one of our artists actually will be joining us in a little bit. And I'm going to go over the program with you. So we're going to have some sort of an opening kind of meditation, just sort of ground us in the space. And just for clarity, just to let you know, we have a little bit of a unique spin that we do, and that we have a hybrid, and it's not hybrid in-person virtual, it's all virtual, but it's a hybrid Zoom metaverse. So there'll be like an immersive space that you can go in if you want. You are free to just hang out in the Zoom, and that's totally cool too. And the Zoom screen will actually be projected in the metaverse space. So you can be in the metaverse with an avatar walking around doing your thing. And then you'll be able to also see what's happening live on the Zoom screen, which will be in that same space. So it's pretty cool. And we also have, I think today is the last day for submissions. We have our hug artists wrapping up. We're selecting 10 artists to exhibit their work. And we had an open call, and that's wrapping up. So we'll be looking over all of those submissions over the weekend and picking our women that are going to be able to have their artwork exhibited in our space. So let's get to the program here. So what we have is we're going to have an opening sort of greeting, welcome, meditation, what have you. And then we will have our keynote speaker, Heather Parody. For those of you that didn't get a chance to check out yesterday's live, Heather is a podcast host, and she is also a community builder, leader, and works a lot in the space of, getting your voice out there, the power of story. And that's actually what she's going to be talking about. Her keynote speech will be the power of story, clear steps to craft and share with confidence. That's what Heather is going to be talking about. And if I can pull up here her write-up, I can give you a little bit more information if I can find it. There we go. So, and here's what we love about Heather is super inspirational, right? But she also does actionable strategies, because we love to be inspired. Everyone loves that. But then I think sometimes you're like, okay, great, but now what? Like, I'm inspired, but what are my next steps? I don't know what to do next. So that's where Heather kind of feels that need. So she actually gives you some actionable strategies to share your story effectively and confidently, learn how to refine your authentic voice, navigate self-doubt, and handle criticism with ease. You'll discover specific methods to craft a message that resonates, build a platform to amplify your story, and confidently stand out in any space. And you'll be able to walk away with clear tactical steps to make an impact and own your voice. So we love that. And we love Heather. And we talked about this yesterday, that she holds a special place in our heart because Natanya, the co-founder, and I, that's how we met in a community building mastermind. I was there for one reason. She was there for a different reason. And we were like, hey, guess what? Like, we're kind of quasi aligned here in some of the things that we're trying to work on. Let's get together and see if we can launch something. And we got such a great response. We did it again and again this year. And there's Chiroa. She's going to be joining us. I'll turn her camera on. Let's get her in here. And Chiroa is one of our artists. So I will continue. There she is. Welcome. Go. I don't know if I can hear you. Can I get a little sound check?
There we go.
There we go. You're on. Perfect timing. I was just going over the program. So I just got to Heather. So we're going to move to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're here. So let's do it. So Heather is our keynote speaker. And then I'm going to jump ahead on the program. And what we have is going to be the 30-day art challenge roundtable led by Chiroa. So for those of you that don't know, she is the mother of AI art therapy. We're going to hear first, the mother of AI art therapy, and she has an amazing program that she developed and created a great space and container for women to be able to go through these 30 days of prompts, gratitude, self-doubt, inner child, all these like amazing topics that are so packed with like healing. And the best part about it is you don't have to actually be an artist in order to participate, which is super cool because I think a lot of that holds a lot of women back. So I will let you take the stage if you don't mind, and you can share with people about your project and then also specifically about what you're going to be doing at the summit.
So like you said, 30 days challenge. We're doing art with women all around the world. It's really been an amazing journey. I'm actually working on the final episode right now, and I'm almost tearing up because I know it's coming to an end, but I'm so grateful for everyone that's really participated and has been there showing up every day. It has made this like incredible. So like you said, we have numerous topics that we go through. I start each episode, I explain what the topic means, how art therapy can really help you to work through each of these different topics. I guide people on how to use Midjourney, but any AI tool can be used with the prompts. So you can create on any platform that you like, but I do teach how to use Midjourney in a number of really unique ways to sort of connect with yourself and to sort of build a system of growth and development and guide you through your journey. Around the 10th episode, we get into visualizations, which I absolutely love. They turned out so amazing. And it's, I don't know, it's really, for me, was life-changing to go through this. You know, I was able to sort of take a lot of my pain. I started off with my collection, the 30 Days of Chronic Pain, because I've been dealing with chronic pain for a number of years. It's impacted my family. It's impacted me, my relationships with people, and just being able to put where I was coming from and the doubts, the fears, the pain, the acknowledgement of what my grumpy ass was doing to my family, you know, when I was in a lot of pain and had no patience. And being able to share that then with them and say, like, listen, I understand, like, this is what you've been going through, and to be able to share that experience and sort of vocalize what I'd been going through. It was really changing for not just me, but my family as well, to be able to sort of see that and have that acknowledgement when I shared the art with them. And maybe not everyone will want to share their art with somebody else, but that communication, no matter who it happens to be with, perhaps it's with the other women in the group, sharing what it is you're going through and opening that discussion with your art, the more you can talk about it, the more you unload it. And the more you can feel supported and find your way into sort of a growth and acknowledgement and face these things head on and find a path into healing. So I think it's a really important program.
Mm.
I think it's really helpful for women to participate. There's topics I like. I'm good with that. I don't need that. And turns out that I did. You know,
Right, exactly.
some little thing from way long ago came up, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that I was still holding on to that. And
Mhm.
that's the whole part of this journey, is finding these things in your life that might be holding you back, that you've never put words to, never acknowledged, and then you discover them, and it's mind-blowing, where
Amazing.
you can find yourself afterwards.
Amazing. And it's so cool, like, in that it's not therapy, it's not to take the place of therapy, but it's a
No.
powerful therapeutic tool that you can use. And I think sometimes, I think for a lot of us, when we have these things in our lives that we want to look at and we want to dive in deeper, it's hard to find a way in that doesn't feel scary. And this is a, maybe not easy, but easier way, because you're letting the art facilitate that pathway for you, which is like incredible.
Yeah, because you might prompt something and you're like, this doesn't resonate, this doesn't resonate. And you keep making changes and you keep modifying until you get this image that just strikes you to your core. And it's just like, wow, like I'm absolutely connecting with this. And that's what we're looking for, is just find what resonates with you. I mean, of course, like you said, this is not professional therapy. You should be going and seeking treatment if that's what you need. But this is more a personal development that you can do within a safe space in your own time for you, where you are the one guiding yourself.
Mhm.
I'm providing the tools and I'm providing the topics, but this is very, very personal for everybody. So I think that's an amazing, amazing journey.
Yeah, it's
So,
and I think that it for women that maybe are resistant to journaling, there are certain of those tools that are often recommended that don't resonate for women. It's just they have the resistance around, like, I don't want to journal, I don't want to this, I don't want to meditate. That's another big one that you hear a lot of resistance around, where this is fun as well, right? I mean,
yes.
because you're exploring and being creative.
Yeah. So and what you just said is absolutely, that was me, because this started with a friend of mine wanting me to join in a journaling challenge. And I'm like, I don't want to do a journaling challenge, but how could I start my year? Because I just started this in a January. How could I
Mhm.
start off my new year doing something that I love and is meaningful to me? And that's why I chose AI art, because it was so accessible. I could sit there in my bed and just, try stuff out, experiment, try new things. And then found my way, that I didn't even actually follow her topics in to a T, because as I was working through stuff, I found I need to really dive in on what I'm feeling right now. And I was just really connecting with my feelings,
Mm.
um, and trying to get those out and express them in a way that was meaningful for me.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's sort of what I want for everybody. Um, try the topics out, try the
Mhm.
prompts. You might find that you take a prompt that's for forgiveness, and what you need to do is more gratitude. So you might use the prompt and modify it completely into
Mhm.
something that's different but resonates with what you need in your core.
That's awesome. Now, can you talk to me a little bit about what it's gonna look like as far as the day of the summit? So just to recap real quick for anyone just joining us, we're talking about, Taroa and her 30-day art challenge, but she's going to be leading a roundtable, and the final day of the challenge will be taking place at our Audacity 2025 Women's Empowerment Summit on the 14th. So can you tell us more about what that's gonna look like?
So what I'm wanting to do that day is, anybody who joins who's participated in this journey is to share their experiences. I'll share my own. I want to talk about how art can be meaningful in this type of a journey. I want to encourage people who have not participated to join, and because they are probably going through this already if they're creating art,
Mm.
and talk about the impact art making has had in their lives. And
Mhm.
that can be anything. I don't want the conversation to be restricted to AI artists, physical artists, musicians, dancers, whatever your art is. Talk
Mhm.
about how it touches you and how it helps you release what you're dealing with. So that's what I'm really wanting to do with this conversation, is just bring people together to talk about how the arts are really a healing process. And then I want to invite people to come in for a second season and talk about how that's going to work, and people who are not familiar with AI, who don't have maybe the financial ability to invest in different tools. The second season is going to offer a free means for anybody to make AI art. And so I really want to encourage people to come and find out about that, and how that's going to look, and how that's going to go in the coming year, and hear everybody's stories.
So I have a question for you. As an artist, we see this a lot. There's a lot of pushback in the art community against AI. And there's a lot of pushback against AI across a lot of different communities, but
Yeah.
art community. So as an artist, how do you reconcile that, and how do you frame it in a way, or if you were to explain to people how you don't believe, because obviously you don't believe that that's true, and nor do I, that it's taking away anything from artists. I think it's fantastic. But coming straight from an artist, like what do you say to the critics?
So there's a couple of things. There's a few perspectives that I take with this. First of all, if you were to teach a child art, you would show them the art of other artists. So it's understandable that AI had to learn from other artists. Now, when we are creating art for ourselves, we are all influenced by the artists that we've been exposed to previously. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to go, oh, I'm going to create Starry Night over and over and over. So for myself, I refuse to use any artist name in any prompt. So every prompt that I've shared has no artist name. I strictly go by defining what the style is, the emotion, the feeling. These are the types of things that are incorporated in my prompts. And I encourage people to use things like style references, or using their own artwork as references to sort of guide their creation process, so that what they end up creating is something that's more truly unique to themselves. Actually, in the last episode, it's really exciting because I talk about how to basically train and make your own style. So it's really, I'm excited about that. So when people leave the program at the end, they should have the tools necessary to take what they've created and develop something that's uniquely their own. And I think that's how you can sort of combat it. Because when you're writing a prompt, if you're not using an artist name, you're putting yourself into it entirely. You're describing entirely what it is that you want to see. And 9 times out of 10, what comes out cannot be, you can't look at it and say, oh, wow, that's so-and-so style, or that's so-and-so's artwork, because you've put yourself into it. And so it's truly unique to you. So I think AI is a tool. It's another palette. It's another set of paints. It's a different type of brush. I use it in a number of different ways within my artwork, not even just exclusively with Midjourney. I work on my art in other programs like Photoshop to add to it. In one episode, we talk about taking a bunch of artworks and breaking them into pieces and building your own collage out of your AI artwork. So again, creating something that's completely uniquely you from the artwork that you've created. So there's a number of different ways you can use it. AI art, I know physical artists who were so opposed to AI. And when I introduced them to what it can do, they were amazed. I'm like, listen, this is your muse. You're going to go and run all your ideas and your visions, and you're going to sort of bring them to life through Midjourney. Then take the best of what you love and go paint it.
Right.
And when people see that perspective, it's, oh my God, I can mock up everything in an instant and build my vision, and then go paint what I want to paint, and then I've got something that's fully formed in my head, and I'm ready to go and paint. And that as a tool has been completely like a life-changing experience for some artists,
Oh, I bet. How hard, it's incredibly hard to be able to get that vision, tangibly out somewhere that you can then, say, okay, this is kind of what I want, and I want to be able to tweak it. But in order to be able to do that, there's so much time. And I think for artists, there's that fear, there's that gap that they need to be able to cross in order to be able to get it out on paper, so to speak. And this helps cross that bridge. And then they're like, okay, now I can see it. There's like one hurdle that I've overcome, because, you hear this a lot in the art community of, there's so much self-doubt. there's so much self-criticism. There's so much, I'm afraid to put this into the world. So if it's something that takes that away, and then allows you to then be free to create, I can't imagine how that would be, perceived as something bad.
Yeah, I mean, I have some artwork that I've done recently, actually, where it was sort of an animated character. I sketched it out. I used my doodle, my rough sketch, to bring it to life within Midjourney,
Mm-hmm.
and from there fine-tuned it a lot more. And then I took it beyond that, where I actually animated it using AI, and it was so amazing to sort of have my little creation come to life. And I've got this whole story with an animated character that all started with a doodle. And just introducing that and then bringing it through to something fun.
That's great.
So there's a lot of different tools out there. And I think if you really put your imagination to it and there's something that you've always wanted to do, the tools are there for it now. And it's amazing.
So changing tracks a little bit, because I think you can offer a special perspective to some of the viewers in that you became, you are part of the Audacity family now as an artist and as a creator, but last year was your first time having any exposure to us. You were an attendee of last year's summit. So what has it been like for you as someone who has gone from the, observer role, like you've just been, a participant and, passively consuming, the summit content, et cetera, to then moving into a creator role where you're now actively creating your own things to put out in the world?
Well, when I went in last year, first of all, I saw all these amazing women that had submitted content and created last year. I made some amazing connections with people, Dr. Lemney, JBR, who had been creating something and already had that experience ahead of me, and formed friendships with women who were able to guide me. And I think what was most important was this opportunity to meet other women who had similar visions to me, and build these friendships and bonds and networking, basically, to get guidance from other people to help me along my path. And then there was an opportunity available last year where you were looking for creators. And I thought, you know what? I have this idea. Let me see. And then when I got on the call with you and Nathania, it was just like, oh my God, I can do this. You guys actually rose. It was just like this huge supporting role that just came right flying at me. And it was just like, wow, I have somebody who's going to help me get through to this vision and make it come to life. And that was very impactful. And I've been telling other women, and even in my Telegram group, I posted the other day, if this is something that you envision doing, you need to get connected to Audacity, because you're going to have the support system to the support system to bring your vision to life. You're going to have somebody there who's going to help you with publishing, or is going to help you with getting your content out, like with me for restreaming, and it helps make Audacity stronger to have all these different women and all these different voices. So it makes us more of a powerhouse, while also supporting the women that are involved. And I mean, to me, that's what it's all about, right? So
yes, definitely. And that is one of the things we like to say, is that rising tides lift all boats, So the more your profile gets raised, then that raises our profile. The better we go, then the better our profile is. Then all of our members will benefit from that. And then that way we can all kind of collectively work on whatever vision we have, inspire other women in the process. And that's really what the summit is about, is that if you are someone who's like, I have this thing, I have this idea, it's a half-baked idea, I don't really know, I don't know anybody, nobody I know is doing this, I feel out of place, I don't have a cohort or a group or community of women that are doing the same thing, nobody lives near me, there's all these reasons why, and they're all valid. If join with us, you'll be able to find your people, and then at the summit be able to see another woman. And just to be clear, it's not just artists, we have women doing other amazing things as well, that you're able to be like, wow, like that's what she's doing, you know what? And I always love to, like if she can do it, so can I. And I think that's where a lot of us can't always make that leap, because we have this idea, but we don't have anyone else, not necessarily to serve as a mentor, but just someone to look up to, of like, where does that exist? And sometimes it's hard, because the women that have really made it, that are like, they seem so inaccessible, And that just seems so hard. Like, I don't know, I'm not her, but all of us are, at different points in our path, to be able to encounter a woman who's inspiring, who's doing big things, who's making things happen, putting things out in the world fearlessly, that you can see that and view it and find, resonate with that and find maybe a piece of yourself in that and go, oh my gosh, like that, this is something that I can do too.
Well, it's not even just that. I find that this group of women, we are so supportive of one another. I mean, you can have a conversation with any of them and, find out their story. They'll give you, some piece of advice that you go, wow.
Yep.
I'll tell you a story. I was in a call actually because JBR was interviewing me, and that one actually didn't really go well. But in the course of this conversation that we're having, she says to me, I never use the word whatever. And then she explained to me that when you say whatever, you're basically being dismissive, right? And it's super hurtful to whoever's hearing it. And I know myself, that I just, whatever, just that one tiny little piece of advice was just, and it makes you sort of see the world a whole other way. And I just really appreciated that one little piece of information, and that's just something that she was able to impart with me one day, and then it makes you see things differently. And it was a great supportive message that she gave,
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about myself and I'm like, blah, blah, blah about myself. And I said, whatever. And she's like, no.
That's right.
Yourself that way.
That's a good point.
You get that sense of empowerment in every conversation that you have. And for me, I found not just empowerment, but inspiration. When I see what other people are doing, like when I saw Vishé's artwork that she submitted for one of my episodes and saw her performance art, it was totally not what I was expecting, because I didn't know what to expect from her at all. And then when I saw it, I watched it. I think I must have watched it 5 times in a row. I was just gobsmacked. And I'm like, that's so amazingly powerful. And it just sort of, here's a whole other way of expression. And it was amazing, absolutely amazing. But it gets your mind going,
Right.
And that's the importance of networking and making these connections.
So true. So true. So I don't want to keep you too long. I'm going to do a quick little wrap up again, and if anything else to share. So we're talking about Audacity 2025, our 3rd annual Women's Empowerment Summit, being held next Friday. Oh my God, we're here. I can't believe it. A week away, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can get your tickets at audacityhq.com. And we do that funny spelling, AWE, because that has to do with the sense of awe that you get, when you're trying to tap into something bigger than yourself. Sometimes it's overwhelming and you need that kind of emotion, that feeling of like, what is it that I'm looking for? I don't really know, when it's hard. If you can carry that vision and carry that emotion, it helps you push you through the hard parts to get you to the good stuff on the other side. So with that, is there anything else you want to add, or?
The only thing that I would add is you got to come, everyone. I have this really great project that we'll be doing at the event, where we're going to have the opportunity to make audacious art. Yay. So please come along. I will have that available then. And everyone can give this AI art a try and make amazing audacious art.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. And thank you, everybody. And make sure you come to Audacity